So AMD's been known for having really poor proprietary driver support on Linux. On the other hand, they're also known for having the best open source display driver support on Linux. The new AMD GPU-Pro driver is supposed to bridge the gap between the stability and compatibility of the open source driver with the speed and performance of their old closed source driver. Now in this video I'm going to try to install the AMD GPU-Pro driver, the brand new one that just came out, 16.40, on my integrated GPU on my 7850K. Now the footage you're seeing here in the background is Cluster Truck, and I'm using the open source AMD GPU driver, not the AMD GPU-Pro. Hopefully at the end of this video we can do a side-by-side comparison and see which one performs better. The only thing that's unclear is whether or not the integrated GPU on my 7850 is supported by the AMD GPU-Pro driver. So before we do anything, let's go ahead and verify the code name of the GPU. And according to GLX info, we have AMD Kaveri or however the hell you say it. So that's not terribly useful because that's the code name for the processor. So I guess maybe the GPU and CPU share the same code name. If we look at the details in Ubuntu, we see that the processor is called an AMD A10-7850 Radeon R7 with 12 compute cores and blah, blah, blah. The graphics, Gallium, that's what we're running right now. That's the open source Mesa driver on AMD Kaveri once again. So when we go to Wikipedia, GCN second generation Sea Islands, and here we find Kaveri, but we also find Bonaire. Now my R7 360 is a Bonaire. I think it's like a Bonaire Pro or something, and I verified that that does not work with the AMD GPU-Pro drivers. So I don't know what to expect. So this should be pretty interesting. So let's go ahead and dive in. Just for fun, we have R7, a whole bunch of them. Kind of a weird assortments, right? You have R7 M465, M460, 445, I actually don't know what the hell these are, but I do know what an R60 is. I actually had an R60X, and I exchanged it for, I guess, upgraded for an R7 360 because that had a later version of a GCN. Of course, it turns out that the R7 360 doesn't frickin' work with the GPU, AMD GPU-Pro driver, so that's kind of a bummer. So let's go ahead and download it. So we're running Ubuntu 16.04, which is the official supported version. Of course, it supports Red Hat Enterprise and probably get it to work on anything, but we are using Ubuntu 16.4. It says it right there. So it should be supported, assuming that the GPU itself is supported. So let's go ahead and download it. So we're done with Chrome. Go back to the terminal, go to downloads, make sure it's there, and tar JXVF AMD GPU Pro. Okay, now we do AMD GPU Pro, and it's like AMD install or so. There it is. Okay, perfect. Let's go ahead and kick it off. Now it wants to install 446 megabytes of stuff. Wow. All right, let's do that. Now one thing that they do recommend in the install guide is to add your user to the Vulcan group, I think, or something, video group or some bullshit. So let's go ahead and do that. Pasting sudo commands from the internet is never, ever, ever a good idea, and you should never do that. So yeah, let's go ahead and reboot. And I guess this is where we find out whether or not it works. I don't think I needed to say now, but... And a lot of black screens. Oh, wow, those error messages don't look good. Ah, yes, here we go. Well, this is exactly what my R7 360 did. System's running in low graphics mode. Well, unfortunately, I think that that might be all she wrote. There's nothing else I can really do from here. I mean, we can try the default graphical mode, but that obviously won't work because we just tried that and it failed. So... stopped the command ring failed. Maybe the host is dead. I don't know what the hell that even means. I probably should. It's complaining about some USB stuff, which doesn't matter. So let's go ahead and reboot and see if we can get back there. Maybe reconfigure... what was the second option? Reconfigure something. So this is exactly what my R7 360 did. So this is actually worse than the previous driver, which was the AMD GPU-Pro 16.30, where at least I was able to get to the display manager and log in, But once you log in, the whole desktop was like flashing and it was totally unusable. Now it looks like we don't even get that far. So we could try to reconfigure graphics. I pretty much guarantee you that won't work though. No, these are irrelevant because this is talking about the X configuration. Yeah, none of these will work. Yeah, so I'm basically just screwed. So what do you do when you get here? Now I'm stuck at the terminal. Or I thought I was going to be stuck at the terminal. Really? Okay, I guess we'll do this the hard way. Now we're going back into recovery. And let's go ahead and mount the file system. I just plug in network. Seems to work fine. There's probably a different way of doing it, but that's how I do it. And now that that's done, we'll drop into a root shell and AMD GPU-Pro uninstall. Yep, and install everything that we just installed because clearly this driver does not work. At least not for these GPUs. The R7-360 and, well, that's interesting. A bunch of that crap failed, but I guess I just reboot, huh? The R7-360 and my integrated R7 on my 7850 Kaveri. So we've made it back to Ubuntu. We have our display back and everything is rocking and rolling. So, you know what this means? I'm going to have to go back to my NVIDIA card because at the very least, the NVIDIA card works. It causes, like, you see tearing and stuff with it. Can I have this, please? This error is coming from the previous session. So it's nothing new, but if nothing else, the NVIDIA card just works. The drivers are proprietary, which is a shame, and you generally see a lot more tearing with the NVIDIA driver, which is also a shame, but you know what? It works, and the frame rates are pretty stable and pretty good. So I don't know what the hell AMD is doing. I don't know what they're still doing. Drivers have always been a problem with AMD on Linux. I don't know what the hell is going on over there, but despite this brand new driver supposedly supporting GCN chips, apparently my GCN chips are not supported. So this was a fun video. Seemed like kind of a waste of time because my R7-360 didn't work, this one didn't work, and you know what? I think I'm done rambling. This was fun. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a good one.